The Seeker's Path. From hitchhiking in Hawaii to exploring some of the world's greatest mountain ranges. Join Seelaman on a journey of self-discovery as he shares some of his greatest adventures. Follow along as he narrates true stories that are filled with mystery and excitement. Learn how you can find your own truth and gain insights and wisdom from his unique perspective. This is The Seeker's Path, where adventure awaits.
Previously on The Seeker's Path. My first and only panic attack changed my life in December of 2010. Afterwards, I felt like I was about to go on a big adventure. After all the snow had melted and spring came, there was a huge earthquake that rocked the world, literally shifting its axis, as well as my consciousness, as I began to open up to other ideas and philosophies. Not long after the earthquake, I had one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Episode 3, A Kundalini Awakening. It was late spring evening, and I was working at the retirement home in Bridgman. "Thank you so much. You're a doll," Edna said as I gently set down a plate of food in front of the elderly woman. "Do you have a girlfriend yet?" "No, not yet. I'm waiting for a good one," I replied with a small giggle. "Well, you're just a baby. You got your whole life ahead of you, kid." "Thanks." I passed food around to the rest of the residents. All of them were around 80 years or older. And my main job was doing activities with them like bingo and whatnot, but I wanted to do more. So I began helping with kitchen duties a few times a week. After everyone had eaten and went back into their rooms, I collected all the dishes and began cleaning up. "Bye, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow," said one of my coworkers. "You too." And then I was alone, like usual, doing the rest of the cleanup duties. Usually it took around a few hours, at least, to clean up the kitchen. So I put in some earplugs and opened up a podcast that I had recently found after getting into UFOs and all that good stuff. It was called Project Camelot, and a man by the name of David Icke was talking with a man and a woman. He recounted his story about how he got into spirituality and reptilians, and eventually he came to a story about climbing up a mountain where he became paralyzed. Now our bus was stopped on the side of the road, and we were just parked there for maybe half an hour. So I was looking out the window, and I saw a small mountain. And for some reason, I felt the urge to climb it. Now, when I got to the top, something amazing happened. I became paralyzed. Couldn't move my arms or legs. Just completely paralyzed. And I thought, oh golly, what have I gotten myself into this time? But then I could feel this immense energy coming up from the bottom of my spine and just shot straight up out of the top of my head. And I was there probably an hour and a half, maybe longer, and when it finished I thought, oh my God, what just happened to me? As I was listening to this, I finished mopping in the kitchen and took out the earplugs. I checked to make sure everything was finished. Then I got on my bike and rode home. When I got upstairs, I went to my computer and started looking up what had happened to David Icke. And that search led me to chakras and Kundalini awakenings. For the next few weeks, I read more and more about the chakras and the Kundalini. I began to learn about meditation during this time. And I tried it a few times, but with little success. It was hard for me to concentrate on anything while my mind was chattering. So I found a guided chakra meditation. It was a 10-minute long meditation guided by a British female voice accompanied with some really peaceful music. It helped greatly, and I began to do this meditation daily. One day I was sitting on the roof of the house doing the chakra meditation.
Great things now. You will be able to develop a greater understanding of life as you become more and more enlightened and aware as you continue to connect with this infinite power within yourself.
After the meditation, I opened my eyes, feeling amazing, feeling great. I stretched my arms over my head, got up, and climbed back inside through the window next to my bed. I went downstairs to go to the bathroom. When I finished, I walked over to the sink to wash my hands. When I turned off the faucet, I looked into the mirror and looked right into my own eyes. I allowed my eyes to unfocus, and after a minute, my face began to change. Just a little morphine here, a little change there. But maybe I was just imagining something. Well, I continued to look into the mirror with my eyes unfocused. And then suddenly, not only did I have little changes, my entire face shifted, as well as my body and what I was wearing. There were many different faces and bodies that began to appear in front of me, to appear in the mirror that I was looking into. One of them was a man with long hair, a long beard, some clothes made out of fur, and a bow and arrow attached to his back. It seemed like people from all different time periods, different walks of life were appearing in front of me. And at the time, I had no idea what was happening. Okay, this was very interesting to me. I read about David Icke's experience, but this was just bizarre. What is changing in front of me? So I had no idea what was happening. But I think that what I was seeing were my past lives appearing in front of me. But near the end of this moment, I felt like I needed to close my eyes. So I closed my eyes and began to relax. At which point my spine straightened. And just like what happened with David Icke, my body became paralyzed, stiff. I couldn't move. And I felt this energy beginning to build right at the base of my spine, known as the root chakra. It was like something was heating up, but it was heating up really fast. My spine again straightened out even more than it already was. And while the energy was building, I felt something began to come up and wrap around my spine, up to the top of my spine, near my neck and my head. Suddenly, the energy building at the base of my spine exploded. Just exploded like solar flares coming out of the sun. It was like a black hole that became too full and energy was just bursting out of it. And it went all the way up through the top of my head, this energy just bursting out. And now there were 7 spots that began to pulse and were shooting out this energy. I mentioned the base of my spine, which is known as the root chakra, was one of them. A little bit above that is kind of at the in between the base of the spine and the belly button, known as the sacral chakra. The 3rd spot was just above my belly button, which is known as the solar plexus chakra. In the middle of my chest, the heart chakra oh my gosh, it felt like I was just in ecstatic love, an immense amount of love, more love than I've ever felt in my life, just exploding out of that area right in the center of my chest. Another spot was in the very center of my throat, known as the throat chakra, in the middle of my brow, right above my eyes, known as the brow chakra or the 3rd eye chakra, and then the very top of my head, known as the crown chakra. All of these spots were just spewing out so much energy, and I have to admit, it felt good. Really good. Like an orgasm just through my entire body. It lasted, I would say, around 30 minutes. And it was just crazy. I was like, that just really happened to me. And that was when I became in tune with energy. I began filling up with passion to learn more about the spiritual side of life. It was almost like I was leveling up in the game of life. So I went back upstairs and wanted to tell everybody what had just happened to me. So I grabbed my camera, ironically the same one that recorded the UFOs, and I recorded a video about my experience.
May 27th. What I wanted to talk to you right now is an experience that I just had, say about an hour or two ago. What I want to explain right now is in the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, got done, washed my hands, and I experienced, I don't know what you call it, like a paralyzing effect. My muscles got so stiff that I couldn't move. Like I was petrified. Petrificus totalis, I believe Hermione explained in Harry Potter. I felt like the heart chakra just exploded and my heart started beating really fast. And then my throat started to swell up a little bit, but it wasn't like my physical neck that was swelling up. It was something other than that. And what I figured was happening from researching some of these things, I either figured I was activating my kundalini in the base of my spine, and actually as soon as I started thinking about that, the base in my spine, it felt like a different energy was there also, and then it started to wrap around my spine.
This kundalini experience opened up many doors for me. One of those doors was a destination that began to call out my name. It began to pull me. And up until this point, right after the panic attack, I knew that I was going on an adventure. I knew it was going to be far, but I didn't know where I was going to go. But after the Kundalini awakening, I felt compelled to head to the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. I still didn't know where exactly in Colorado or what I was going to do once I got there, but at least I knew where I was being called to. Just a week or two after, I got this surge of inspiration to create something amazing. It was something that I knew was going to make a big difference in this world, and it was going to help other people who are going through similar things. So, tune in next time to learn what happens. My nugget of wisdom for today. One thing that I've learned about life is that when you hear about experiences, when you think about them, when you research them, the more likely it is going to happen to you. I didn't have that Kundalini awakening until I began to look into it. I researched it. I thought how awesome it would be if it could happen to me, and it did. I didn't worry about when it would happen or where. So, if you want something to happen in your life, start thinking about it, research it, imagine it happening to you. Let go of expectations for when or where, and just have faith that it will happen, and at the perfect time, it will. Thanks for tuning in here to The Seeker's Path. And until next time, this is Selaman, signing out.